In 1,000 years by Hans Christian Andersen. Yes, in 1,000 years people will fly on the wings of steam through the air over the ocean. The young inhabitants of America will become visitors of old Europe. They will become over to see the monuments and the great cities that will then be in ruins, just as we in our time made pilgrims to the mouldering splendors of southern Asia. In 1,000 years they will come, the fame, the Danube and the Rhine still roll their course. Mont Blanc stands firm with its snow-capped summit, and the northern lights gleam over the lands of the north. But generations after generations has become dust. Old rows of the mighty of the moment are forgotten, like those who already slumber at the grave mound on which the rich trader whose groundedness has built a bench on which he can sit and look out across his waving cornfields. To Europe cry the young sons of America. To the land of our ancestors, the glorious land of memories and fancy. To Europe, the ship of the air comes. It is crowded with passengers for transit and quicker than by sea. The electromagnetic wire under the ocean has already telegraphed the number of the aerial caravan. Europe is in sight. It is the coast of Ireland where they see, but the passengers are still asleep. They will not be called till they are exactly of England. They will first step on European shore in the land of Shakespeare, as the educated call it, in the land of politics, the land of machinery, as it is called by others. Here we stay a whole day. That is all the time the busy race can devote to the whole of England and Scotland. When the journey is continued through the tunnel under the English Channel to France, the land of Charlemagne and Napoleon. Maria is named. The learned men talk of classical and romantic school, of remote and quiety. Where history joins in shouting for the names of heroes, poets, and men of science whom our time does not know, but who will be born after our time at Paris, the crater of Europe. The air steamboat flies over the country whence Columbus went forth, and Cortes was born, and where Caldron sang Dramas and sounded verse. The beautiful black-eyed woman lives still in the blooming valleys, and the ancient songs speak of the city of the Alhambra. When through the air over the sea to Italy, where once lay old everlasting Rome, it has vanished. The campaign lies desert, a single ruined wall is shown as remained of St. Peter's, but where's it doped if his ruin be genuine? Next to Greece, to sleep a night in the grand hotel at the top of Mount Olympus, to say that I have been there, and the journey is continued to the Bosporus, to rest there a few hours, and see the place where Byzantium lay, and where the legend tells that the hermit stone of the time of the Turks, poor fishermen are now spreading their nets. After the remains of mighty cities on the broad Danube, cities which we in our time know not, the travelers pass, but here and there, on which side of those the time shall bring forth, the caravan sometimes descants and departs whence again. Down below lies Germany, that one was covered with a close net of railways and canals, a region where Luther spoke, where Goethe sang, and Mozart once held the sceptre of harmony. Great names are shown there, in science and in art, names that are unknown to us. One day devoted to seeing Germany, and on for the north, the country of Erst Nordlingus, and for Norway, the land of the old heroes and the young Normans. Iceland is visited on the journey home. His year boils no longer. Hekla is an extinct volcano, but a rocky island is still fixed in the midst of a foaming sea, a continental monument of legend and poetry. There's really a great deal to be seen in Europe, says the young American, and we have seen it in a week, according to the directions of a great traveler. And he mentions the name of one of his contemporaries in a celebrated work, How to See All Europe in a Week.